Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the show. So, a lot of questions have been coming our way, and the question is, oh my gosh, are we headed towards an economic collapse? Okay, so there's a lot of information out there. Whether you look at Attom, whether you look at some of the other reporting as far as, let's see, here's Zillow, Redfin, take a look at FHFA, take a look at, what Fannie and Freddie are predicting, and everybody else out there in the world providing their 2 cents. And you know what? At the end of the day, even though we can look back and we can say, hey, here's what happened in the past, but it's inconsistent with what we're seeing today. So really, at the end of the day, everybody's guessing. Everybody is, and including ourselves, right? I'm not immune to that. But here's the thing. We've got a pretty good track record, all things considered, and we do keep things local. Sure, I don't report on the national market. I will pull in national statistics. Yes, we will look at residential sales only, condos, multifamily, other kinds of properties. Those are on a different report. Let us know. Just either email me, text me. You can go ahead and request it by posting down below if you want those reports. But in the meantime, let's deal with residential, and let's talk a little bit about what the heck is going on. So when we take a look at everything that is, well, let's just talk about, there we go. Let's talk a little bit about what we need to accomplish to make sure that you make the best business decision. So like, subscribe, share, make sure that you're, asking the questions, because this is free. Understand, if you don't ask questions, well, I can't answer them. So let's take a look at our first slide. When we actually take a look at what is going on with new on market, you can see we had 1,284. Friday always being our biggest, day on market as far as number of sellers or new listings coming on market. But look, 1,406 went pending already. So we're still taking off more homes than what is coming on market. Then you can see we have 1,249 of those homes actually now have closed. And you're going to see those numbers, during the week, they bobble up and down, but we will see that consistent pattern. Sure, we, without a doubt, are not seeing the volume of sales that we have seen historically. And part of that is because of interest rates. That's one. Two, we do have a very low inventory, which is really what has helped to prop up values. A lot of people say, hey, there's a lot of similarities to 2008, 2009. And I'm like, yes and no. We're not seeing 2008 numbers because we don't have a lot of the crazy lending that happened in the 2003 through 2005-6 timeline, especially 2005 through 2007. We're not doing 120%, 105% loans. We're requiring, the more down payment, more of the 10, 15, 20% down. Now, there are some folks out there that are saying, George, back then they were putting on average 20, 22% down. Yes, that is correct when we talk about 10 years, 15 years ago. And they're like, well, we're only doing 15, 18% is the average right now. Yes, that is correct, because if you're able to put 15% down, not get MI, that allows you a little bit more of the affordability and to keep our dollars in our pocket, especially when interest rates were basically 2%, 1.8% less a year ago than they were. Well, okay, that makes utter financial sense. But that doesn't mean that they're not well qualified. And so even though there's a debt to income ratio that a lot of economists are saying, hey, we're capping out at a higher debt to income ratio. Sure, affordability sucks right now, hands down. Is that going to change? Well, we're predicting that as the Feds, I think, which will pivot in Q4 or come very close to it, pivoting meaning that they will actually start to reduce the Fed rate. Remember, Fed rates have nothing to do with mortgage rates, but as they reduce their Fed rate, they start to head in a downward trend as they are now seeing that they are having the slowing effect on inflation that they were looking for. Yes, I think they're going to overshoot it just a little bit. I think they're going to go past what they technically should, but that will bring them down to the 2% or lower inflation rate that they are targeting versus its crazy number where it's at today, which is probably closer to about between 9 and 12%, depending on which metrics you include, because a lot of the metrics they exclude what I think are critical things, which takes it from the 9 to about 11%. They will start drawing that back down as they do, and as the Feds do their pivot. The important part is that we will actually start to see a change in velocity as far as the Treasury, the 10-year Treasury, I think is going to start to drop down. I think bonds are going to improve. Mortgage rates will follow the Treasury. Because remember, the mortgage rate and the Treasuries historically will follow each other very consistently. All right. They're not identical, but it's a great metric. So if you hear, oh, bond, the 10-year Treasury is up today, well, mortgage rates then went up more than likely with it. If the 10-year Treasury says, oh, 10-year Treasury is down today, mortgage rates will historically have followed it. And they will normally follow that within about 1.8 to 2% of each other, or what they call 180 basis points or 200 basis points, albeit right now they're about 300 basis points or 3% apart, which is a lot further apart than what they like to see. All right, without delving in too far into that, let's talk about what happened in July. July was a really good month. We saw a lot of traction. We still saw a lot of buyers out there. And that reminds me, somebody said, George, seriously, are you still saying it's a good time to buy? Affordability, you just said it sucks. Yes. Interest rates are almost 2%. It's 1% higher. Yes. But you're still saying it's a good time to buy. Yes. Why? It's a very simple answer, and that is, if we're going to fix what our monthly nut is every single month, and housing typically is between 40 and 60% of the cost of our monthly budget. If you're going to fix that nut, then you absolutely have to secure a home. Look, I'm a landlord. I have been for many years. I own a number of buildings. And guess what? I raise my rates every single year, okay? Sometimes twice a year, depending on if it's commercial or residential. Understand, as we go through those cost increases, I as a landlord have to overcome increased insurance, increased maintenance, increased taxes. Well, that is a pass-through cost. And the only way to mitigate that, okay, is to go ahead and secure a home. Sure, rates could go up, rates could go down. You can benefit by them going down. There's not as many buyers out there because affordability and inventory issues are a problem. Are we still seeing multiple offers? Yes, we are, for well-priced homes. It is what it is. Will that maintain? Can that be sustained? Well, as we can see here, we're actually doing pretty well. If you say things enough, and you say it long enough, it will happen, right? They say, oh, the market's going to crash. The market's going to crash. They've been saying that since 2015, technical. 2020, they said that was it. The game was over. Real estate was going to be non-existent. The exact polar opposite. We predicted that with low inventory, it cannot collapse. With our low inventory, it cannot collapse. We still have pent-up buyer demand. Sure. Is there a shadow inventory that a lot of people talk about, whether it's foreclosures or at-risk borrowers who are living really on the edge right now? Well, you're going to see that our foreclosures they're not there yet. Is there a shadow inventory? Probably not. The however is, we'll wait and see. I don't foresee any massive collapse between 24, 25, or 2026, my humble opinion. All right, moving on. Let's take a look at this. When we blow this up, not in the literal sense, you can see that we have 20,000 homes less year over year. And last year was super limited, and this year's Well, it's even more limited. You can see our sales are down 13,000 to year to date, and our pendants are down 10,000 homes year to date. The inventory is probably the biggest issue. Technically, we should be 18, 22,000 homes. Conservatively, 15,000. In 2019, we had 15,000 homes at this point. We're not even there. In fact, if it hadn't been for an aggressive, Friday new homes coming on market, we would still be in the 9,000 homes available, not just cresting over the 10,000 that you're seeing today. Again, inventory is one of the three elements that is really propping up our inventory, but also holding back our market. For clarity, the three: affordability, inventory, and interest rates. Those are the big three that are holding what is going to happen. And as any of those change, you improve affordability, we're going to see an increase in market. You increase inventory, we're going to see an increase in activity. There are some saying that the buyers aren't there. And my comment to you in our area is hogwash. We have a pent-up buyer demand still. You drop rates down below 6.6. Unfortunately, they were bouncing up again, as they do. It's like the stock market. They go up and down. They've been bouncing up a little bit higher, which has started a little bit of a buyer pullback, not by much, but a little bit. Add a little seasonality to it, add a little seasoning. And what do you have? We have the vacation trifecta still, but we are still seeing quite a volume of activity, all things considered. No, our market is still doing incredibly well. All right, let's move on. Let's take a look at this next one. When we take a look at new construction is helping to absolutely, without a doubt, prop up economy in a lot of different ways. In other words, they've always said that 7 out of every 10 jobs are related to real estate. And if you look at it, somebody like, no. Well, if you think about it, you look at transportation, you take a look at materials, you take a look at, shopping, you take a look at a lot of different elements. And it's like, oh, you're right. There's a lot that is surrounded and relates to real estate. But we also have to keep in mind when we talk about real estate, again, we're talking about residential real estate. We are not talking about commercial real estate. Commercial real estate is absolutely subject to the feds. Those are the rates that they have. There's $1 trillion worth of commercial real estate that is coming due because they don't do 30-year mortgages. They do 5, 7, 10-year mortgages, and that's it on like 22-year amortizations, not 30, a 25-year am, not 30. So their costs are higher. And then when you take their 3.5 and literally double it, or actually it was about 4, and then take it up to 7, 7.5. That is a big nut to swallow. And a lot of these companies are going to be struggling and trying to find out what else can they do? How else can they manage this? Sure. We've heard that there are some commercial folks that they just handed it back to the lender and said, hasta la vista, baby. I'll be back. Nah, anyway, so there you go. They handed it off. Why? Because they knew it wasn't sustainable based on the higher rates because their margins were so tight. Now, granted, they are also in some of the more, let's call, sensitive areas where you're seeing a little bit of an exodus because of crime and whatnot, which is not a surprise. Anyway, moving on. As you can see, let's get back to this chart here. As you can see, even though sales are down year to date only by 274 homes, we're 1,373 homes above. But what's super interesting is for the second time, was last week also, our inventory available, year over year is actually less now. Before, we've always been more. Now we've actually become less as we are taking off more homes on the new construction side. All right. Now, if we take a look at foreclosures, this is super interesting. Take a look at this. All right. So the foreclosures, sales are up. Inventory has stayed about the same. We're seeing a few homes coming off. Yes, we do have a couple more agents to the wall of shame. We do let them know, but some do, some don't. Take care of it. But as you can see, we have a minimal disparity year over year. As far as sales goes, we're only 12 homes off from where we were at last year. 10 homes as far as actual total inventory available. 21 homes are pended, so we're actually up on our pended scale just a little bit. But again, these numbers are peanuts. I mean, this is nothing. This is half of Washington State, well, 2/3. And understand, if we have a bigger REO inventory, you're going to know about it because, again, we report back. And if you happen to have a mortgage and you are in trouble and you are with a credit union, that is a winner chicken dinner, because I'll tell you, those credit unions, they are there to help you. They have options. There's more flexibility. They are awesome. That's one of our favorite clients who are working with credit unions, because they actually care about their members and the people that they work with. And that's what it's about, man. That's why we give back. That's why we do so much with Seattle Children's Hospital. It's giving back, and that's what credit unions do. So we always tip our hat off to the credit unions, support them as much as we can. And in the meantime, let's get the show on the road again here. All right. So when we take a look at what we talk about when we look at mortgages, so you can see that they bought back up again. They actually crested over 7%. They actually almost hit an October high. In October of last year is where we absolutely peaked out. And that's not very exciting. The however is we still kept, moving forward. Applications are down. No kidding. When interest rates get up super high, people tend to pull back a little bit. When they get down below 6.6%, buyers come back out into to the market again. And when we are watching those rates, hey, again, as you're looking towards Q4, expect that. 2024, I do expect the rates to start getting into the low sixes, high fives. Now, will we, and I was asked this again, and they're like, George, are we going to see 3.5% mortgages again? No, I don't think so. That was such an artificial thing. And people need to understand that. The only reason we got there is because the feds were buying the mortgage-backed securities. And you know what? If you're buying up all the water and you got a bunch of thirsty people, hey, you know what? That makes that water super valuable. But you know what? If the dam breaks and all the water goes out, the value of that water just goes down and that gets diluted. And in essence, that's what happened. That's why we saw that massive sweep upwards in rate, because they quit buying mortgage-backed securities and actually started selling off mortgage-backed securities and not buying what was being made available. So understand that when you take and you literally pivot, it had a catastrophic effect. And a lot of people saw that. And even though people predicted our market to absolutely crash and burn, we are really, even on a national level, doing the exact opposite. Now, I'm not saying that we're out of the woods. I'm not saying we hit our floor, because I don't think we did. And I'm not saying that we're not going to have future issues, but it will be very interdependent on inventory, affordability, and interest rates. Interest rates are going to have and be affected by the economy, by what the feds are doing, because even though they don't control mortgage rates, they do affect them, right? And as far as inflation in our numbers. Anyway, moving on. All right. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on. So the month of August, here we go. For those kite flyers, and we actually know quite a few of them, hey, understand kite flying is going to be a big thing down in Longview on the coast. Super, super amazing to go out there. That's going to be August 21 to the 27th. Make sure that you are planning for that. Chomp is so much fun. It's free. Here's the thing. It's all of your local restaurants. I mean, it's free to go there. The food's not free. It's at Marymore, which is a massive place. Tons and tons of fun places to walk. You have your, what the heck is that? The farmer's market, restaurants, absolutely just a utter kick in the pants. And you get to try all different kinds of things. BECU, Boeing Employees Credit Union, they have Zoo Tunes. Right, with your, the tickets and whatnot, you can see a concert and, of course, Save the Critters. And that is super cool. They have tons of shows, and I will post all of these links. And then as we get to the end, of course, who could not avoid the Washington State Fair? That is just an absolute kick in the pants, because you got to get the scones. Got to. That's just a got to. And you got to get some of the other bad things like the onion burger and things like that. There's bad things. And then, of course, go on some rides and you get to, anyway, just kidding. Anyway, so it's a fun place. Great things. We'll post these links. And there's a lot of concerts that are happening this month. If you want some additional information, just ask. And we'll also send you links for other things that are coming up. But in the meantime, remember, subscribe, share, like this. Hey, listen, when you subscribe, I just can't say thank you enough for supporting the channel, for everything that we try and do, because here's the thing, it's free and we try and give you really solid information so you have a local knowledge of how best to protect you and your family. In the meantime, subscribe, smash that subscribe button. Almost didn't get that out. And have a beautiful day. Take care. Oh, it's a little cooler. Go for a walk. Have a great day.